now tuned into the greatest.
The Run with Manny Wilson podcast.
The Run, the Manny Wilson podcast.
The best sports podcast there is.
Yes, sir. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Run with me, Manny Wilson, all the way from Detroit to Chicago to your speakers and headphones. I appreciate you tuning in to The Run, the first interactive sports podcast, a community that makes sure your voice is heard. So if you hear something you agree with, you disagree with, you like, you dislike, or even if you just want to outsmart me on something I said, go ahead, shoot me a quick call, 219-413-9405, and we'll play your take back on our next episode. And shout out to SeatGeek for sponsoring this episode as well. So get $20 off your first ticket purchase when you use the promo code The Run Podcast. And this code can only be applied for first-time users on the mobile app or the website. So I don't know about you, but baseball season is rolling strong right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and create me an account. Shoot to one of these Cubs or White Sox games. Definitely not White Sox though, because White Sox they even worse than the Cubs right now. But anyway, look, man, I got a special guest in the building with me today, man. Travis Hicks, Fox 47 sports and news reporter, is here with me today. He's also a mentee of Fox Sports, Rob Parker. He is here to join me today. What's going on with you, Travis? How you doing, bro?
Man, it's good to hear from you, Manny. It was good to see you at the NABJ. I think this is going to be a fun one. Big fan of your platform. I think you do an amazing job. And excited to talk some sports with you.
Man, me as well, bro. I'm excited to get into it. Obviously, we all know football season is right here around the corner. We got some preseason matchups that's been happening. People were starving for football because they hype about preseason games. But above all of that, I got some teams I cannot wait to watch. There's a couple of them out here I'm just very much anticipating. So to me, my team is the Chiefs. I can't wait to watch the Chiefs. They're not my team is like, oh, I'm a fan, all of that stuff, whatever. But I'm just very interested in the Chiefs this upcoming season because clearly they got some weapons. They got some new receivers over there, Xavier Worthy, Rashee Weiss, Marquise Brown. Like, they got some guys who can catch the football and really turn these plays up big from 6 yards up until 30. And we've seen Pat Mahomes win a ring with garbage on his team as receiving options. So I'm just kind of curious if it'll go back to like an air raid type of offense, if they're going to really be putting it in the air, letting it fly, or is they going to stick with Isaiah Pacheco, run the ball? So I'm super curious about what the Chiefs are going to do this season. Obviously, we know the whole three-peat thing is a big conversation as well, but, I'm curious about that personnel. But I want to know, even if it is the Chiefs, what's that team that you just you can't wait to see what they do this upcoming season?
I gotta say my hometown Detroit Lions.
The Detroit Lions.
Yes, last year we were so close in the NFC title game. Sadly blew that 24-7 lead against the 49ers, but I believe the Lions got the toolbox to get back there. And this might be a big take, but I think Sam Laporta already might be the best current tight end this upcoming season, especially getting praise from one of the GOAT tight ends, arguably the GOAT tight end, and Travis Kelce, saying how much he liked Sam Laporta's game. And from what I heard in training camp, they're saying J-Mo could have a big breakout year again too. So I'm saying the Lions are going to be about 12-5, 13-4 type tier team. We do have a tough division. I know you make that face, but saying that, I believe we're going to win the NFC North again, but it's going to be tough. Jordan Love obviously played amazing those last 8 games. That's why he got that big contract. Me and you spoke about Caleb Williams. I think he's going to be fantastic. And a lot of people sleep. J.J. McCarthy, reigning national champion from Michigan. You give him Justin Jefferson and the weapons like Addison around him. Minnesota, don't sleep on them. They could potentially make a run. So we'll be tough, but Lions are the team I'm extremely excited about.
Okay, so I got to tell you, I'm one of the people, I am snoring on J.J. McCarthy right now. I am snoring, bro. I'm catching Z's all over J.J. McCarthy because I just don't think that he's hot stuff like the media made him. Because when I looked at that Michigan team, at least, I seen so much talent around him. And it was just, to me, if I swap J.J. McCarthy with any other quarterback, they still win. It's not like, Michigan won a natty because of what J.J. McCarthy was doing. He just so happened to be a quarterback who was playing around a lot of skill guys. And obviously, that makes a difference and all of that. But above all, I'm snoring on J.J. McCarthy. But I want to go back to what you said about the Lions because I'm kind of excited to watch the Lions too. And I think it'll be some good stuff. And I think this is one of the seasons where people really, really catch on. If you missed last year and you wasn't really paying attention last year to how great of a receiving core the Lions have, this is going to be the year where you realize, like, damn, how did they get so many dogs on this team? And the answer to everybody is going to be, they drafted them. It's that simple. They drafted them. They were intelligent in the draft. They were patient, and they took the correct guys. So I think the Lions can definitely make some noise. As far as the NFC North, it's going to be tough. You know it's going to be tough because Green Bay is there, and I'm rocking a hat right now. The Chicago Bears is going to be in the mix. I ain't saying they about to be champions of that division, but they're going to be in the mix for sure. I gotta at least give them 11 games. 11 games. I'm on record saying it, I'll say it again. 11 games. So I don't know how that's going to work out with the Lions winning the division and all that, but I'm going at least 11 games. What's your thoughts on that?
So I told you over the weekend, I said 10-7. I think they do increase by 3 wins. After having Justin Fields, and he was able to get, a lot of games. Wasn't his fault. A lot of people put the blame on him, but now you're getting a guy who's more accurate than Caleb Williams, in my opinion. With the weapons they got, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, it's going to be very interesting, and I think the Bears are going to be good. But those division games are always tough, even for the Lions. Like, we've lost a consecutive 7 straight Thanksgiving Day games. So one thing, the reason why I bring that up about the Lions is because we're always playing the division rival. So that could be one loss that could be in the mix, but I think we're going to get it done this year. Looking at the schedule, looking at all the weapons around Goff, we might have the best receiving core in the league with St. Brown out there, who got snubbed last year. I know he ended up making the All-Pro. It wasn't a first option. So I think with the numbers, and as far as Goff making smarter decisions with the ball, I believe we'll be there. I believe we're actually going to beat your Bears twice this year. I believe it's going to be close games. I know that might be a big take, but I think it's going to be close touchdown games like 28-21. I think the Lions got a point to prove. They really want that Super Bowl, and they were right there last year before we choked in that second half. So
here's the thing, and Bears, they might definitely. It's going to be close. It's going to be close. I agree with that part, and maybe the Lions will win both games. But I remember last year, Bears had the game in the bag. If you remember that game, I think it was in Detroit as well. They had the game in the bag. They were up, 24 to 10 or something like that most of the game. And then fourth quarter came along. Bears just blew the lead. They wasn't playing defense. The offense was not running the ball. They were just stagnant over and over again. And then eventually they kept giving the Lions opportunity. Lions win. So that gives me hope. That's why I say, the Bears are going to at least win 11 games, because there was multiple situations where that was the case for the Chicago Bears last season. And I'm like, as long as they can close out games, they can continue to score the ball and stay on top of a lead when they actually have a lead, they'll be all right. But as far as the Lions getting back all the way to the Super Bowl, getting there this time, man, it's tough because everybody is going to be healthy. Everybody's getting a little bit better. And usually I'm always on the side of, okay, well, the AFC has the better conference. But as far as now, it's kind of neck and neck everywhere you look in the NFC right now. In our division, obviously, you got some competition with the Packers. The Bears are somewhat on the come up. I wouldn't put them as a playoff threat as of right now. But the 49ers still sitting with the same team that they had. And they on the same mission as well, because they've been there multiple years and they've never been able to get it done. So, I think it'll be good for the Bears, or I think it'll be good for the Lions. I'm hoping to see them have some success, and I would love to personally see them go all the way to the Super Bowl this time and actually make something happen. But let's switch gears a little bit. So let's move over to the AFC, because I mentioned the Chiefs over there, and I'm a firm believer. Pat Mahomes is going to three-peat. I'm just a firm believer in Pat Mahomes three-peating. I think it's going to happen. We've seen him win with the best of the best type of team. We've seen him win with a team that's just unbelievably bad. So now that he has a group where it's like, okay, he working with something now. I think he's going to get back there. It's clear that nobody in the AFC can stop him. Lamar Jackson and them, they blew their opportunity last year. You had who else was they played? They played in the Super Bowl against some good competition against the 49ers twice, beat both of them. So, to me, And they beat the Eagles as well when they went there. So, I mean, it's like almost if the Lions go and they match up against the Chiefs, it's still going to be tough because the Chiefs got so much experience in the Super Bowl. So what's your thoughts on them three-peating? Let's hear it.
So I'm actually a Mahomes fan. I think they have a legitimate chance to do it. But I will say this, I'm picking the Lions to win the Super Bowl, but I believe the Chiefs have a great chance. The reason why I'm saying that is because last year you made a good point. The receiving core was terrible that Mahomes had. They led the league in drops. I'm talking about Kadarius Toney messed up even one of the greatest plays of all time. If you remember when Travis Kelce threw it back, then he went all the way, but he was offside. So a lot of things what Mahomes did last year, I think that's going to be one of the most impressive rings he'll ever have, just based off that. But now giving him Xavier Worthy, the fastest wideout in the draft, Rashee Rice is going to be back after a 6-game suspension, and you got Hollywood Brown. No one's talking about Hollywood Brown. We saw what he did with Lamar. So I believe the Chiefs can be a lock to go at the AFC, but I believe that bad man, Joe Burrow, who has beat Mahomes in the playoffs, is coming back. I know Mahomes got him last time in the 2023 AFC title game where they beat them by 3. But I do think that could be his one obstacle because Joe Burrow, he kind of gives me that Tom Brady vibe. Like, I like the way he carries himself. But I think it's going to be Chiefs versus Lions. But if the Chiefs were to not make the Super Bowl, I think the Bengals could be that one step in their way.
And you know what? I wouldn't be mad at a Bengals-Lions Super Bowl either. I think that would be dope because I'm a fan of Joe Burrow and what he's been doing. The only thing about Joe Burrow is, bro, I just need you to stay healthy. Damn, Joe Burrow. If he could stay healthy, he probably would have already got one by now. Probably would have got one. But anyway, look, man, I ain't going to hold you up too much. I told you only a few minutes, so I'm going to keep you here. I'm going to go ahead and let you go. Go ahead, let the people know where they can find you on socials. And if they want to check out your work with Fox 47, go ahead, let them know where they can check you out.
First, Manny, thank you so much for having me on your podcast. Keep continuing to do great things. I'm going to keep watching. Huge fan of it. And the people, you can follow me on Travis6_reporter on Instagram and Travis_reporter on Twitter, and just Travis Hicks on Facebook and LinkedIn. And again, please support Manny. Great dude, and love watching stuff.
Much appreciated, bro. I appreciate that, man. And hey, I'm gonna have to bring you back on come football season, bro. So hey, just be ready. Just be ready. If the Lions lose week 1, and don't let them lose against the Bears. Don't let them lose against the Bears.
I'll say this before I go on record. Regardless of the Lions lose or win, I will come back. So I'm not going to duck whatever they do.
Okay, bet. You ain't ducking no smoke. Yep. All right, cool. Look, man, we got some news coming up in just a sec. Anybody who's there, go ahead, shoot us a quick take if you want to chime in on the conversation. 219-413-9405. Go ahead, drop your opinion, drop your thoughts on the upcoming season. What team are you anticipating to watch in this upcoming season? So we'd love to hear it. Anyway, hey, man, look, it's halftime. We'll be right back with some news. All right, let's get into it, man. News for the run. Starting off, so the NFL onside kick rules are going to be a little bit different than what you've seen in the past. So onside kicks will now be illegal before the fourth quarter, and the team that's performing an onside kick, they must be losing in order to do so. And then teams, they must announce their intention to kick an onside kick ahead of time. Any of these will report in like a flag or a violation or result in a flag or a violation. Not sure what that penalty will be, but these are the new rules in the NFL for onside kicks. Now, DJ Moore and the Chicago Bears agreed to a new deal, $110 million that includes $82 million guaranteed. So that's going to help the Bears a lot, him securing his money. And speaking of the Chicago Bears, Hard Knocks training camp with the Chicago Bears will premiere Tuesday night at 9 p.m. on HBO Max. So go ahead, check that out. Get to see an inside look of Caleb Williams and the rest of the new pieces that the Bears added to the roster. It's going to bring a lot of hype to that organization, especially being in Chicago. So that's going to be huge. But for those who are starving for some NFL football, you can finally take a breath. The NFL preseason is here, and the games are starting up again this Thursday on August 8th. You can watch the Panthers play the Patriots. The Lions, they'll take on the Giants. Then Friday, you also got a couple of games as well between the Falcons and the Dolphins. Texans will play the Steelers. The Eagles, they'll also take on the Ravens that Friday afternoon. Then Saturday and Sunday, you can expect some more football as well. On Saturday, looks like you got a big slate here of games. The Commanders are going to be playing the Jets. The Bears will be playing the Bills, Raiders, and the Vikings. Green Bay Packers will take on the Cleveland Browns. Buccaneers versus the Bengals. 49ers and Titans. Chiefs, Jaguars. Seahawks and the Chargers. And on Sunday, just 2 games there with the Dallas Cowboys and the Denver Broncos playing the Indianapolis Colts. So in that matchup with the Cowboys, they're actually going to be playing the Rams. I didn't say that, but went ahead. Got to go ahead and clarify that just a little bit for you. But anyway, now it's time to switch gears because one of the teams I'm not really expecting much from them preseason. I don't expect anything from anybody in the preseason games because it's really a joke. Like, guys are trying to make the teams and stuff. And in the slate that I mentioned for this weekend, they don't even have a game coming up in this preseason. But one of the teams, I think they've missed their Super Bowl opportunity. And I'm 100% confident saying they missed their Super Bowl opportunity because last year there was a lot of injuries of people being hurt. There was teams were hurt. They didn't have a great quarterback last year. But, the Baltimore Ravens, they were one of those teams that were absolutely stacked. They had talent on every aspect of the field, on the defensive end, on the offensive end, and the linebackers, the defensive backs, the D-line, the offensive, the running backs, the receivers, the quarterback. They had talent everywhere you can imagine on the field for the Baltimore Ravens. And I don't think that road to the Super Bowl would have gotten any easier for them. Because when you think about this, the Kansas City Chiefs aren't going to be that bad again. They're not going to have that much lack of talent ever again in that organization. Because now they got 3 key guys they can throw the ball to and create offense. They didn't have that last year. It was literally just Travis Kelce and Isaiah Pacheco who could do anything on the offensive end. Everybody else was pretty much dropping passes, trying to establish a name for themselves. So now that the Chiefs are stacked up with a new team and a new roster on giving them more offensive power, the Ravens are going to have to play a more talented Kansas City Chiefs. They're going to play a healthy Cincinnati Bengals and Joe Burrow, a more experienced Texans with CJ Stroud and a lot more weapons over there with them as well. So, this is why I say, although the Ravens, they have a nice team, they got some guys over there, they brought back some people as well that's going to help them a lot. And yeah, I know the big thing is here, they got Derrick Henry who's going to help the offense. Yeah, he's going to be a huge help, but ultimately, that wasn't an area where the Ravens were struggling last year. They never struggled to run the ball last year. So yeah, you have Derrick Henry, a guy who can carry the offense and run the ball. But at the same time, what's the difference between last year's running the ball and this year's running the ball? Either way, they're still going to finish the game with at least 165 yards rushing. So to me, the main difference here is that Lamar Jackson and the Ravens are going to have to go against guys that are more talented, teams that are more talented, teams that are stacked together and put together a little bit better than what they were last year. And that does concern me just a little bit because, now I want Lamar to win, but it's harder. It's more difficult. It's more difficult than beating an inexperienced Texans team or Kansas City Chiefs team with no talent. I don't know, but look, man, hey, that's all we got for you today. I appreciate you for hanging with us, tuning in, and listening all the way through. Shoot us a quick take, 219-413-9405. And of course, we'll play your take back on our next episode. But I'm going to leave you with a positive note here. And the one thing I'm going to say is just run your own race. Run your own race. Don't get too hyped up about what somebody else is doing. Don't get hyped up about what somebody behind you is doing or you're ahead behind your age group, all of that. None of that actually matters at all. Just run your own race. Do what you got to do. Take care of your responsibilities and let everything work out in divine order. That's all you got to worry about. Don't worry about nobody else next to you. Don't worry about who flexing on the gram, flexing on Twitter, flexing on Facebook, whatever you use. Just run your own race. All right, and I'm going to leave you with that, man. But other than that, look, man, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Send it to a cousin, a brother, an aunt, an uncle, a niece, a nephew, a coworker, anyone you know who will enjoy this conversation in this podcast episode. Other than that, follow us on Instagram at The Run Podcast. Follow my personal as well at I am Manny Wilson. You can follow us on TikTok as well, The Run Podcast, and YouTube, The Run Podcast as well. Other than that, look, man, hey, I'll be back later on next week. And so on and so on and so on.